Hey YouTube, it's Victor from V&V Yu-Gi-Oh! And here we have a Gem Knight deck profile like you can see here and in the video name. So I'll get straight to it. First off, there's probably one of my favorite Gem Knights in the entire deck, which is Gem Knight Lapis. Now it's a level 3 vanilla Gem Knight, 1200 attack, but it's one of my favorites because I absolutely love to see it in my hand if I draw it. And that's because it makes Lapis Lazuli, which is probably the best card in the extra deck in my opinion. So I have to run 3 Lapis to get to that as soon as possible. Then I have triple Gem Knight Amber. Gem Knight Amber is a Gemini Gem Knight. So when he's on the field, you have to normal summon him again to get the effect. And his effect is you can discard a Gem Knight card from your hand to the graveyard to return a banished Gem Knight monster to your hand, which is really helpful for a lot of combos, which I'll show at the end of this video. Next is triple Gem Knight Obsidian. He's probably also, along with Amber and Lazuli, one of my favorite cards to see in my hand, because if you discard him for a card effect, you can special summon a normal Gem Knight from your graveyard. So if you have these two in your hand, Obsidian and Amber, what you can do is use Gem Knight Fusion to send these two to the graveyard, make a Gem Knight Fusion monster. Then Obsidian's effect will special summon Amber, and then you can banish Obsidian to get Gem Knight Fusion back into your hand. Use Amber's effect, normal summon Amber, use his effect to discard a Gem Knight card, return Obsidian to your hand, and fuse with these two again, and then special summon him back again. Which I don't think that's very fair, but I'm not going to argue about it. I'm not going to complain here. Then I run 3 Gem Knight Garnets. This is the last normal Gem Knight I run. Having 6 normal monsters is a lot, but I find it necessary for this deck in my opinion. Plus he's a 1900 attack level 4, which is pretty nice. You need him to make Gem Knight Garnet, or Gem Knight Ruby, sorry. He is Gem Knight Garnet. Use him to make himself. But yeah, use him to make Gem Knight Ruby, and Gem Knight Ruby does piercing and can up its own attack, so I definitely want Gem Knight Ruby in my extra deck, so I need Gem Knight Garnet. For my current one of Gem Knights, I have 1 Gem Knight Alexandrite. I'm actually going to be taking him out soon. You normal summon him and tribute him to special summon any Gem Knight from your deck, which can be good, but I usually like to save my normal summon for when I get so I can normal summon Amber and get its effect, which is in my opinion better. And currently only 1 Gem Knight Lazuli. I have 2 more of these coming in the mail, so soon I will have 3 for this deck. This card is beyond amazing. In some situations, Lazuli is better than Gem Knight Obsidian. What Lazuli does is if it's sent from your hand, or if it's just sent to the graveyard, sorry, then you can add a normal Gem Knight from your graveyard to your hand. Now, most of the time you'd be thinking, well, this is how I thought anyway. Gem Knight Obsidian is the same thing, only it special summons it. But Gem Knight Obsidian has to be in your hand to the graveyard for him to work, whereas Lazuli can be sent from the deck to the graveyard and then you get the effect also, which is amazing with Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli. So yeah, I definitely need 2 more of these, and I'm getting 2 more of those. Next is 2 Gem Turtles. I have a 3rd one of these coming in the mail too, because it's very important to get your Gem Knight Fusion to your hand as quickly as possible. Because pretty much if you don't get Gem Knight Fusion, you've pretty well lost the game. Because that's what this deck revolves around. So 3 Gem Turtles, I think, is necessary. 2 Gem Armadillos. I have 2 because where I was ordering from didn't have any, so I'm sticking with 2. This is your searcher. Summon it, grab any Gem Knight from your deck to your hand. I would like to have 3, but at the moment I can only get 2, so I'll making it work. Next is 2 Fire Hand and 2 Ice Hand. These are just staples. They can go on any deck, really. And I find they're really good in this deck because there are a few Gem Knights that you can use these as diffusion materials. So they're not always dead if you draw the 2 Fire or 2 Ice Hands. And back row hate, monster hate, special summons for Lapis Lazuli. I'll get into Lapis Lazuli's effect later in the video. It's an absolute beast. So now the one-ofs that are not Gem Knights. The obvious 1 Rescue Rabbit, absolutely necessary. Banish it, bring out 2 Gem Knight Garnets from your deck. And then you can pretty much do almost anything from there. I'll show you that at the end of the video though. 1 Metalion, the Time Lord. This card, a lot of people don't use. But I love it because you just normal summon it without tributes if you have no monsters. Can't be destroyed with battle or card effects. If it attacks or is attacked, nobody takes any damage because it has 0 attack. And you take no damage from its effect. Then, during the end of the battle phase, it returns all other monsters on the field to the hand, and the opponent takes 300 damage for each. So it's a good way to get rid of your entire opponent's field and deal some pretty big damage. And then it goes back into your deck during your next standby phase. So it's there for your opponent's full turn too, so it protects you there. Next I have 1 Effect Veiler. Effect negation, pretty much that's it. Next is 1 the Earth Seal, or the Earth Hex Sealed Fusion. I'm going to be taking this out, it's not really that helpful. It pretty much just replaces a fusion material when you're fusing, but the other material has to be the right one. So in theory it's a really good card, but in practice it's meh. Really not much to be looked at. Next is 1 Gigantus. This card is amazing. As you saw in my Ritual Beasts, I have that other level 4 that can be special summoned by banishing Wind. This can be special summoned by banishing an Earth. It has 1900 attack, level 4, and if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, it destroys all spells and traps on the field. So if it dies, it is a Heavy Storm, which is really awesome, I think. That's it for my monsters. There are a lot of them. Next, triple Gem Knight Fusion. Absolutely mandatory for the deck. Use it to summon any Gem Knight Fusion monster. And if it's in the grave, you can banish a Gem Knight monster to return it to your hand, which is really awesome. It just sets up so much. 1 Book of Moon, puts a little bit of protection. You know, you can set your opponent's window, do whatever you want with it. Double MST and 1 Night Beam. Night Beam, get rid of the card and they can't chain it. MST, really good for getting rid of like Vanities or something, and so is Night Beam. Because Vanities would kill this deck. And last spell is 1 Pot of Duality. This card is really useful if you're planning on just setting a Gem Turtle or setting a Fire Ice Hand and passing. Because you're not going to special summon that turn anyway, so might as well Pot of Duality it. For traps, there's triple Reckless Greed. I'll often use this if I am going to start going for my big plays, and I have enough to go for my big plays and just want to see if I can push for even more damage. I'll just activate a Reckless Greed or 2 or 3 and get more Gem Knights in hand for more Gem Knight fusions. And the 1 of traps are 1 Mirror Force and 1 Fiendish Chain. So now some Now onto my extra deck, sorry. It's not fully done yet. There's a few cards coming in the mail. I'll talk about those after. I run 2 Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli. I've never needed more than 2. This card is so amazing. You can only summon it once per turn. And once per turn you can send a Gem Knight from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard to inflict 500 damage to your opponent for every special summon monster on the field. So that can be a total, potentially, of 5,000 damage. Just an effect damage from 1 Lapis Lazuli. Which is why that's an amazing card. Next I have 2 Gem Knight Rubies. This card does piercing, you use Garnet to summon it, and you can tribute a Gem Knight, and this card gains attack equal to that Gem Knight's original attack until the end phase. So it can be a really big piercer if you need it to be. I run 2 Gem Knight Prismora. I have a third one coming in the mail because I use 2 of these pretty much every duel, and I'm always wanting to go into a third in the same turn that I make the first 2, so because I can. And this card is you can discard a Gem Knight card from your hand to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. 1 face-up card on the field. So you can just discard the Gem Knight Fusion, banish a Gem Knight, add it back to your hand, discard the Gem Knight Fusion for the other one, and repeat. It's good for clearing field, and it's 2450, which isn't bad. And they're both level 7s for some Exceeds I have. I have 1 Gem Knight Master Diamond. This card's amazing, especially if teamed up with Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli, because it can take the effect of a Gem Knight Fusion in your graveyard by banishing that Gem Knight Fusion, and then and gains 100 attack for every Gem Knight in your graveyard, which I found out that attack boost stays even after you change your effect. So he can essentially become a Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli, deal a lot of damage to your opponent, and then still be a really big beater. You need any 3 Gem Knights to summon him. So as soon as you get him on the field, he's at least 3,200, which is huge. Right now I have 1 Gem Knight Aquamarine. I've never summoned him. He's mostly just in there, so there's something else to tell you with Lapis Lazuli. I'm going to be taking him out because I'm also adding... There's a few I don't have. One of the ones I don't have that I'm ordering 2 of for this deck is the one that just needs a Gem Knight Narok, which is a 2900 attack beater. It has no effect, apart from needing a Gem Knight Narok monster. And the other ones I'm ordering are the ones that work well with Fire and Ice Hand. The one for Ice Hand, if it leaves the field, it, I believe, destroys 1 or all back row. I don't remember. And the Fire Hand one, cards and effects can't be activated when it attacks, and it's at 2200, so it's really good. And that'll be it for the fusions. Next for the Exceeds, for rank 4s, I have 1 Steel Swarm Roach. Just stops level 5 or higher summons. I'm going to be taking him out soon, but for now, he's a good little added bonus. Regna Zero kills any monster that is in attack mode, its attack is higher or lower than its original attack, and then you get to draw a card. Really good card. 101. It's 101. Gagaga Cowboy, just for extra damage. Defense mode, 800 damage. And the card I haven't played the deck since I've added this, but I feel like I'm going to be making it a lot, is the 1 Lavalval Chain. Because if you use Rescue Rabbit and then overlay the 2 Garnets into Lavalval Chain, you can detach a Garnet to send Gem Knight Fusion to the graveyard, and then just banish the Garnet to add Gem Knight Fusion to your hand, and then just get plays going from there. That's it for my 4s, sorry. I also run the 2 rank 7s, Draco Sack and Big Eye. because most of the time when I'm going 4 game, I'll be making the 2 Prismora. Then I can pop stuff with them using the effects. And then if by some chance I'm not able to make a game, I can overlay into Dracosac and get the 2 tokens for protection. Or if they have something I just can't get over with their effect, I can make Big Eye and just take it. So yeah, really, really good cards in my opinion. And then that's it for the main deck and extra deck. Okay, now a few combos that I'm going to show you. The first one, you'll need Gem-Knight Fusion. I should have had this all set up beforehand, I'm sorry. Gem-Knight Obsidian, Amber, and just a Gem-Knight Engrave. So I'll just use him as an example. So with these 3 cards and 1 random Gem-Knight in the grave, what you can do is use Gem-Knight Fusion, sending these 2 to the graveyard to special summon out Prismora. And then you get Obsidian's effect to special summon Amber to the field. Then you banish Obsidian to add Gem-Knight Fusion to your hand. You normal summon Amber, which will then let you discard the Gem-Knight Fusion to add Gem-Knight Obsidian back to your hand. You banish the Gem-Knight that's in your graveyard to add Fusion back to your hand. Then you can use Gem-Knight Fusion again, sending Obsidian from the hand and Amber from the field to the graveyard to special summon a second Gem-Knight Prismora. And with Obsidian's effect, you can special summon Gem-Knight Amber again, and you end the field with Amber and 2 Prismora. Well, then you can even banish the Obsidian to add Fusion back to your hand, and use one of the Prismora's effect to discard the Fusion to destroy a face-up card on the field. And that is a pretty scary opening field with that. Okay, for this next little combo I'm going to try, I'm going to just have Rescue Abbot in my hand. And I have power shuffled the deck. Now I'm going to shuffle it. Nice and shuffled, cut. And then we will draw a total of 5, with this being one of them. 4 and 5. Okay, so now we're going to see what we can do just because we had a Rescue Abbot in our hand. So we'll start by just normal summoning the Rescue Abbot. Banish Rescue Abbot to special summon the 2 Gem-Knight Garnets from our deck. Then we can overlay them into Lavalval Chain. Well, then we'll use the Lavalval Chain's effect, which will let us send the Gem-Knight Fusion to the graveyard. Shuffling the deck. Not that it's needed. We'll use Gem-Knight Fusion's effect, banishing the Garnet to add that to our hand. From here, we can activate the Gem-Knight Fusion. Using these 2 cards to special summon Gem-Knight Lapis Lazuli. And next we will banish Alexandrite to add Gem-Knight Fusion back to our hand. And from here we would be able to Gem-Knight Fusion with these 2 to make the Gem-Knight Fusion monster that just needs an Aqua monster. Which I don't have yet, but I will be getting soon in the mail. And then from that, we will use Gem-Knight Lapis Lazuli's effect to send Gem-Knight Lazuli to the graveyard. And that will deal at least 1500 damage to our opponent if we went first. So right off the bat, 1500 damage, pretty good start I'd say. And because Lazuli was sent to the graveyard, it'll allow you to add a normal Gem Knight back to your hand. And while he's in the graveyard, he's treated as a normal monster. And you can banish Gem Knight Lazuli to add Gem Knight Fusion back to your hand. And then from here, if you want, you can use Gem Knight Fusion again to fuse your 3 Gem Knights. To make Gem Knight Master Diamond. And then activate Gem Knight Master Diamond's effect, banishing the Lapis Lazuli from your graveyard. So his effect is now that you can send one Gem Knight from your hand, or from your extra deck, or deck to the graveyard, and your opponent takes 500 damage for every special summon monster on the field. So if you're planning on using his effect again next turn to do the same, then you can send a Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli to the graveyard and do another 1000 damage to your opponent. So right there, just off of starting with a Rescue Rabbit, I was able to do a total of 2500 damage to my opponent in my first turn. So they haven't even drawn their extra card, they haven't had a chance to play anything, they're just down 2500. I have no hand, but they're down 2500. And next turn, you draw the Amber, which at this point isn't very helpful, but you could potentially stack your deck, put an Obsidian on top, and then get plays on your next turn. So yeah, that's it for my Gem Knights. Let me know if you want to see a more in-depth combo video. And if there's anything that you think I can improve on in the deck, let me know. Obviously there's a few Gem Knights that I don't have yet. But apart from that, have a great day, and hopefully I'll be uploading a video again soon. Thank you for watching.